Good morning. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this April 11th, and the time is now 5 o'clock this morning, meaning it's time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall. And Megan, we have made it to Friday. We have made it to the best day of the week, in my opinion.
We sure have. Now, it will be a chillier day, so there's a little bit of that to contend with, and we do have those rain chances. So let's kind of go into that forecast for you. This morning, temperatures will be chillier than you saw yesterday. We'll be looking about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, with the exception of Jonesville, which is actually 5 degrees warmer than yesterday. Here's a look at those current temperatures. We're mainly sitting in the 40s this morning, but good news is temperatures will be warming up, but not by much. We're going to see those temperatures mainly staying in the low 50s for today, seeing some upper 40s in the forecast as you're traveling towards Virginia. We do have some fog in the area this morning too, so if you do approach any fog, make sure you're driving a little bit slower, have your low beams on, and take it safely this morning. On top of that, we have the rain still in the forecast. Now, it is making its way through. We'll continue to see that through the next couple hours, clearing out by the time you head into the afternoon. But here's a look at that planning forecast for you. High temperatures will be about 5 o'clock today, having those rain chances in the forecast for most of the morning. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan. Folks in Frankfort are cleaning up after devastating flooding. The Kentucky River crested on Monday at 48.3 feet, and that's at just a few inches under the record. Now, for the first time in nearly a week, it dropped below flood stage. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spent the day with people taking the first steps toward recovery.
From churches to homes, what was inside is making its way outdoors to dry out as the recovery in Frankfort is underway.
We have about a half-inch of mud on the floors in our house.
Abigail Carey says that they've lived on Wilson Street for several years and never thought the river, which they cannot even see from their home, would ever flood this much.
No, we didn't. We were told there were going to be dams put in place and that, you know, the chance of it was almost none. So
now they're taking everything out of the house, and most of it will have to be tossed.
We're looking forward to getting the dumpsters. That way it'll be an easier cleanup.
People say the cleanup and recovery will take a long time. They really can't put a date on when everything is going to be back to normal, but they say they are thankful for the volunteers, the city of Frankfort, the Red Cross, people simply going door to door asking them if there's anything that they need.
I'm blessed that I do have power.
Patricia Wilburn's basement flooded, but many of her neighbors, even those across the street, have it a lot worse.
Like, I think 3 inches there and 4 inches over there. So I'm really grateful, you know, but still sad.
Some have insurance and others do not.
I'm just going to have to take it out of my pocket, I reckon.
People say there are still so many questions. One of the big ones, how long until life returns to normal? In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Frankfort City officials say they are waiting to hear if a federal disaster declaration will be made for the city. If that declaration is signed, homeowners and renters will be able to apply for FEMA aid. And FEMA is currently doing early damage assessments. Governor Andy Beshear says a 7th person died in Kentucky due to the flooding. The deaths have been in Bullitt, Carroll, Franklin, McCracken, Nelson, Pendleton, and Trigg counties. The governor says any money raised with the Team Kentucky Storm Relief Fund will help pay for the victims' funerals.
Each of these children of God, missed by their families and by their communities, please pray for them. We'll be reaching out with the Team Kentucky Storm Relief Fund and offer to pay for each of those funerals so that, again, we can grieve together and these families aren't worrying about this cost, that burden at this very difficult time.
Governor Beshear says Kentucky will be submitting the application for individual assistance to the federal government today. With cleanup now underway, many Kentuckians are in assessment mode, taking a look at the damage the flood did to their home. Most Kentuckians don't have flood insurance, and that's according to the vice president and head of personal lines insurance sales at AAA Club Alliance. If you do have a flood policy, call your insurance company now for an inspection. While you wait, do what you can to mitigate any further damage from occurring.
The damage that water can do isn't just what you can see. You can't put a Band-Aid on it. What comes next is terrible, and that is mold.
Yeah.
And mold is invasive, and mold can be very dangerous.
He says when you do call restoration crews, remember, scams run rampant in times like this. Make sure you call a reputable local company. Goodwill is providing vouchers at select opportunity centers for flood survivors. There are several locations you can go to redeem a voucher. The opportunity centers in our area include Corbin, Moorhead, Pikeville, and Somerset. Vouchers are limited to one per household, and the individuals must visit the nearest opportunity center or store to them. Kentucky Fish and Wildlife officials say people hunting during the spring turkey season could be impacted by the recent flooding. The period runs from April 12th through May 4th. They say many wildlife management areas are affected by high water, particularly in center and western Kentucky. A Thursday morning fire in Paintsville left one man dead. Firefighters were called to an apartment on Elm Street. They say the fire was contained to the kitchen of a single unit. But inside, crews found a man who did not survive. Captain Ben Cook with the Paintsville Fire Department says the fire could have easily spread, and this serves as a reminder for everyone to regularly check smoke alarm batteries.
We tell everybody when you adjust the time on your clocks, check your smoke alarm batteries. That's what's going to wake you up in the middle of the night and get you out in enough time. A lot of people don't understand by the time the human body recognizes something's wrong and you wake up from a sleep, you stand up in that superheated gas, and when you breathe that in, take it into your lungs, it can do a lot of damage to your esophagus, and that's usually why we find people unresponsive and not able to make it out.
The fire is still under investigation, but Captain Cook says they believe it started near the stove. The man's body was taken to Frankfort for an autopsy. His name has not yet been released. A warehouse fire that started early yesterday morning in Wise, Virginia, continues to smolder. The fire is on the property of the Wise County School Board. Officials say it's contained, but could still take a few more hours to burn out. No injuries were reported. A U.S. district judge is demanding to know how the Trump administration is facilitating the return of a man it deported illegally. She's requiring a sworn statement from the Justice Department today and scheduling a hearing for this afternoon. That's after a Supreme Court ruling last night requiring the government to take steps toward the release of Kilmar Garcia. However, the High Court is stopping short of requiring the government to bring him home.
What remains mysterious about this order is what happens if Mr. Garcia doesn't come back, and how does the court try to enforce something that's entirely in another country.
The man's attorney says if he doesn't come back, that would be a sign that, quote, the government can deport whoever they want. Despite President Donald Trump's retreat on some of his tariffs, his remaining levies are likely to blow a sizable hole in the wallets of Americans. According to new research by the Budget Lab at Yale, President Trump's latest tariffs will cost the typical middle-class household nearly $3,500 a year. The new estimate factors in President Trump's 90-day pause on country-specific tariffs and 145% tariffs on Chinese goods, which is currently at 125%. The analysis found lower income Americans will get hit harder by the tariffs as a share of their total income. Thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we return, a rare treatment saved a man's life with the help of 3 new organs.
And you can expect cooler temperatures today, but warmer weather is on the way.